it's Jay. Today's video is going to be about fragrances in my collection that are juicy. The spectrum is going to range from, juicy, fruity fragrances that are natural. So they might remind me of like a fresh apple or some fresh berries. And it ranges all the way to some fragrances that are still juicy, still fruity, still floral, but may remind me of a cocktail or something like that. And so being in that we're spring, I am looking forward to going outside and sitting outside on a patio for brunch, or maybe at a patio bar, maybe going to a rooftop bar, or, outings outside where you dress up a little bit, you have your nice flowy, cute dresses on, or shorts, or whatever you might be wearing. Definitely very feminine feeling, very airy feeling, very flowy, or even just going out to run errands, or just hang out with some friends, family, maybe go to the botanical gardens or the zoo or something like that. I feel like all of these fragrances are great for outdoors. And yeah, I guess, like I said, the clothing would be casual. What you might be wearing when you wear these are casual to maybe dress casual. So let's get into the fragrances. The first one is Floral Street. This is Sunflower Pop. Now, I first heard of this fragrance on Marcy's channel, and it just sounded so good, and it is. This is very vibrant. It's very bright. It's very citrusy up top. Look at that, sprayer is very nice. The citrus in here is so beautiful. There's supposed to be a Bellini note, and Bellini is, I think, peach and champagne. I don't necessarily get Bellini in this fragrance, but I do get a lot of citruses that are on the sweeter side. So it's still a tart fragrance, but it has a little bit of sweetness to it. And the citrus note is just so bright and so strong, just so present. Then the floral notes in here, I'll put them up. I can't recall them from memory, but they feel like clean white florals. So nothing too overpowering, just very uplifting, very clean, and very bright, citrusy, fun, beautiful fragrance. So have any of you guys, this was done in collaboration with the Vincent van Gogh exhibit that is going across the nation. I think it's in my city now. If it's not, it's gonna be here soon. But have any of you seen it? Is it worth the money? I just want to know, because I do like art, but I want to make sure that it's worth the money. So if you've seen it, leave it in the comments and let me know. So let's move on to the next. This is Si Passione, and this is the original. This fragrance is very clean compared to the Sunflower Pop. It has a little bit more sweetness. This is not a very sweet fragrance overall, but compared to that one, I can now smell some sweetness in it. It smells like ripe berries to me. So it's very natural. There's not a lot of added sweetness to the berries, but they're ripe. So they're still tart but sweet, right? There's a little pineapple in this fragrance. Let's see. And it does give a very shampoo-y vibe. Very fresh, very clean, still fruity, and beautiful. So the same occasions, casual. It gives like a woody, musky base once it all dries down. But again, that is still very fresh as well. It's easy to wear. I would say all of these fragrances are very easy to wear, very feminine, if I hadn't already said that, but very easy to wear. This next one is Creed. This is Aqua Fiorentina, and I just recently learned, just by reviewing the notes, that this is a version, it's called Encore, Aqua Fiorentina Encore. So the difference between the two is these florals, the roses that are on the side. The original Aqua Fiorentina doesn't have that. And there's also a note of green gage, which is a plum. It's supposed to be a very sweet, very juicy plum. It's supposed to be the caviar fruit. I've never tried that before. If any of you guys have actually tried a green gage plum, let me know in the comments as well. I'm curious to know if that's worth the money as well. well. So what I'm getting at is that I feel a sweetness in this fragrance. I don't know about the original Aqua Fiorentina. I don't know how sweet it is, but this fragrance is mostly about the apple. There's definitely a green apple note in here. Definitely green apple, fresh, juicy, as far as green apples go, not necessarily like a juice that you would drink. Tart, but this also very musky, and it's also a little bit woody too. But again, there is a little bit of sweetness in this fragrance as well. So this is very similar to Dolce & Gabbana. This is similar to light blue. So I feel like this gives a little bit more sweetness and more fruitiness than the light blue does, with that lemon note and then the musky woods. So you've got a little more fruit in here than light blue. So if you haven't tried it, I would say this is worth a try if you want something a little more juicy than light blue. Again, on the fruity side, like a juicy apple, okay? So that is Aqua Fiorentina, Encore. The next perfume is Versace Eros. This is the EDT, Eros Parfum. This fragrance reminds me of a raspberry lemonade. It can also be kind of candy-like because of the sweetness, but just think of a very sweet raspberry lemonade. This has white florals in it, which are also very clean, but this is definitely sweeter than the Floral Street Sunflower Pop. Still a bright fragrance, but definitely more playful with that sugary sweetness that it has. So this reminds me of, like I said, a raspberry lemonade. So this is Versace Eros, beautiful as well. The next one on this list is Dolce & Gabbana La Imperatrice. This one is very familiar, just very talked about in the fragrance community, but I'll say it again because it belongs on this list. It's a juicy fragrance that has notes of watermelon. There's kiwi in it, and it is tart with that rhubarb. And if you guys remember, or if you even still drink, that Snapple, the strawberry kiwi, I feel like this could be a version of that, just with some added melon in there. I feel like that could be this type of fragrance. So the fragrance of that drink. So yeah, very juicy, very tart, but sweet at the same time, and perfect for casual occasions. So now we're getting into the fragrances that I feel are appropriate for more afternoon to evening activities. I would say the previously mentioned fragrances are probably for daytime. We're going into afternoon, evening now, okay? And I think the perfect one to segue that is Sunset Hour by Golfield and Banks. So this one is very, very juicy. This is more like a cocktail feeling fragrance to me, and maybe I say that because it feels more like it would be an evening scent, but just the juice upon first spray. And today I'm getting that ginger heavy. There is ginger in here. There is supposed to be raspberry, and I feel like it is fruity. I don't necessarily get a direct note of raspberry in this fragrance, but I had to give you at least one. I don't get a direct note of raspberry in this fragrance, but it is gingery, so it has that little but fresh ginger spice, juice from the fruit. But when this fragrance dries down, it gives me a feeling of a powdered wood. Okay, so imagine, I don't know if any of you guys have done any sanding, you know, but just the powdered wood that comes from you sanding down a piece of wood, that softness, that smell, it kind of reminds me of that. So it's like a cashmere feel. There is a note of cashmere in here, so I'm just trying to figure out a way that can express that soft woody, powdery feeling that I get from this fragrance. But there is still a perfumey note in here. So it's not the most natural smelling fragrance. It's still very, very easy to wear. If you like fruity florals with a little bit of spice, that ginger note doesn't stay around for the whole fragrance, but this is, you would definitely like this, have no problem wearing this. It's very beautiful. So slightly spicy, but that fresh ginger spice with some juicy fruity notes, soft woods, and a touch of like perfumey perfume feel. So that is Goldfield and Banks Sunset Hour. Okay, the next one I have is Rose Extase by Nina Ricci. And this one reminds me of those candied strawberries that have the juice in the middle, but elevated. So imagine there were rose in that candy. It's mouth-watering to me, and I don't know if anyone gets that. Does anybody feel like this fragrance is juicy? That's what makes it's strong, and the rose is very fresh. It could be a red rose. I don't feel like it's that sweet though. I feel like it's probably like pink roses, pink flowers, maybe with red roses in the bouquet somewhere. But this is a very the tartness, the juiciness is tart. The strawberry feel I get, I think it's just red berries that are listed in this fragrance, but I'm in the mind of strawberry and roses, pink roses. So that's what I get from this fragrance. I feel like it's very beautiful. It's very fun, but you have to like rose. Not your grandma's rose, but you have to like rose. Just there's a strong floral element to this fragrance. So let me know if you've tried this one. What do you guys think about this one? Again, this is Extase, Rose Extase by Nina Ricci. The next one is Elie Saab, and this is Resort Collection. This has a note of pomegranate in it. This is an orange blossom fragrance with some patchouli. So when you first spray it, you definitely get that juiciness from the pomegranate. But it's well blended with the orange blossom. So orange blossom is it can be on the brighter side, on the fresher side, but orange blossom is also a very sweet flower. Okay, a very sweet white floral. And so what the pomegranate does for this fragrance is temper that sweetness from the orange blossom. So I feel like this could be a cocktail. I feel like it could be a pomegranate juice that's infused with orange blossom. And again, I've said before, the patchouli really does something beautiful for this fragrance. If you are scared of patchouli, you don't have to worry about smelling direct patchouli in this fragrance. What it does for this fragrance, I feel, is just give it a humidity. So just imagine you're in a tropical place and you feel humidity around you, but you're drinking this cocktail, this pomegranate with orange blossom infusion. You know, I really feel like this fragrance is perfect for vacations, outdoor vacations. Like I said, nighttime activities outside though, dressed up a little bit more, maybe with your heel, with your sandal. This is a very, very beautiful fragrance. So this is still available. And I tried to choose fragrances in this list that are easily available. None of them are discontinued. None of them are discontinued. So you can still get this one. And I think this is about $40, $50 on FragranceNet or Fragrance X the last time I checked, which was probably a couple weeks ago. Get your nose on it. If you like orange blossom, but you don't want the sweetest orange blossom, check this out. You might like it. So that is the Resort Collection. Make sure that you get the red one. I don't know what the blue one smells like. There's two. So that's that. The next three are probably they're not probably, they are the most sweet on this list. And they just are juicy. They're just, this is Pas Ce Soir. I don't know what I was about to say. My mind went kind of blank, but anyway, this is Pas Ce Soir. This is another fragrance that has a strong note of ginger in it. fresh ginger. Okay, so when you first spray it, you get that ginger. This has quince in it, which is a fruit that is said to be mixed with, not mixed with, that it resembles both apple and pear. So you get a freshness with this fragrance, but you also get a lot of sweetness with this fragrance too. It's like woody at the base as well, but this could be a cocktail as well. I could see like this appley version of a ginger cocktail. I don't know, but it puts me in that mind, and I see nighttime activities with this fragrance as well. So that is Pas Ce Soir by BDK. The next one is newer to my collection, and I put this on the other day, and I thought it was about the juicy blackberry that's in here. I thought the fragrance centered around the blackberry, but as I wore this fragrance, the blackberry is not the star. And I'll tell you how this develops. So the notes in this fragrance are, there's blackberry at the top. Can't remember the other top note, but there is rose in here. There is champagne. There is linden blossom, which gives a limey feel. It's actually a lime tree, the blossom from a lime tree. And some woody notes as well. So when you spray this fragrance, you definitely get that juicy, juicy berry, the blackberry. It's so good. And it mixes very well with the rose. But as this fragrance dies down, that blackberry starts to fade away, and it really does not last throughout the life of the fragrance. So what you end up with is this, that champagne note. You can feel it. It's a feel of effervescence in this fragrance. So imagine that you had a champagne that's very dry. This is how I like my champagnes anyway. But it has some maybe lime squeezed in it with maybe like a berry in it, but it's kind of rimmed with honey, because I get a honey feel in this fragrance. So this dry, which would symbolize maybe a woodiness, the dryness to me, like the bubbles of the champagne with a lime note, berry that doesn't last, so maybe the berry would be sitting, but just honey around the rim, or kind of like sliding down the sides of the inside of the champagne goblet. That's what this fragrance gives me. It's really, really beautiful as far as the honey note. It was unexpected for me. It's a soft honey, but it's there. So if you have problems with honey, I would say you should probably try this fragrance first before you, I wouldn't say that you should blind buy this fragrance if you have issues with honey, because honey can be very pungent. It can be very strong and syrupy, and that's how I feel it is. But again, there are those notes that brighten it, like the champagne. This is definitely a beautiful fragrance, and I never said, but here you go. This is Alma Pure by Moresque. Definitely worth getting your nose on. This is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance for spring evenings to wear outdoors. So get your nose on this one. And the last one that I have that is juicy is probably the most gourmand on this list. This is Nobile 1942, and this is La Danza Delle Libellule. This is fresh apple, and that's why it's on this list, because this apple is fresh cut. It's not a green apple. It's definitely a tart red apple, you know, maybe like a Gala apple or a Honeycrisp apple, but it's definitely fresh cut, dipped in some caramel, because this fragrance definitely gives a caramel vibe. And there's a little bit of cinnamon that starts to peek out of this fragrance as it wears. And so this could be like a sweet cocktail drink. I always think of, you know, those martinis that have the chocolate, or this one could have champagne around the rim that has an apple juice in it. So Maybe that's why people say that this fragrance reminds them of apple juice, but I can't negate the caramel feel that's in this fragrance too. So there is definitely like a juicy apple butt with caramel in this fragrance. So that is Nobile 1942, La Danza Delle Libellule. You guys, tell me what you would wear outdoors on a patio, whether it be to lunch, to brunch, you know, an evening dinner, maybe a bar, a patio bar, outdoors, rooftop bar. What are you guys going to be wearing when you do your fun outdoor activities? Let me know. Put it in the comments. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Love, Jay. Bye-bye.